What are we talking about? Tony McGregor, father of Conor McGregor, defended his son about him not being a racist, as most fathers should be doing, always taking their son's defense. In this regard, I want to get to his quote immediately, and then I want to throw back to what Floyd Mayweather said about racism, and then go back even farther to actually someone that we work with here at the Young Turks, and his remarks on Conor McGregor and stuff like that. We're gonna get to a few things. So Conor McGregor is not a racist, comes from his father, Tony McGregor. The fight is not about race. This fight is about skill and technique. In fact, I don't think any fight is ever about race. The color of skin is immaterial. It's the victory that Conor's looking for, it's imperative, and that's the only thing I'd say in that. Now, the media drives a lot of narratives. I don't think there's anything wrong with Tony McGregor's words. People want to pick him apart and say it's about fighting skill, as UFC fighter versus boxer. What do you want him to say? He's going to take his son's defense no matter what. But before I go on too long about all of these things, let's get to all the elements. So I want to throw to Floyd's racism still exists, because I also think there were some very important points that came out of that.
McGregor, oh yeah, today I'm not knocking him. Remember this, when I tell you guys, racism still exists. When Mayweather, was flashy. I've been flashy for years. Man, rap, y'all know this. Flashy, meat coats. And y'all know I've been driving Ferraris and Bentleys and Rolls Royces over 20 years. All this flashy stuff, I was doing it. Oh, he's arrogant. Oh, he's cocky. He's this, he's that. He's unappreciative. But then you take this same guy that's in contact sports, steal my whole blueprint, and he go do it, and they praise him for it.
I love the media just. It's a very good point, Floyd Mayweather, but just guys write it down.
Yeah.
Talk about it. I don't think Floyd Mayweather is wrong in that either. Francis, this is where the discussion comes though. We've hit a point, I think unfortunately, and I'm not sure if we agree or disagree on this, but the line between trash talk and being a bigot or a racist has always been a little bit gray area, right? I don't think Conor McGregor calling Nate Diaz certain things, I think he called him cholo gangster and cockroach. I don't think they were racially charged. I don't think Floyd Mayweather going after Conor McGregor for his mink coats or whatever, I don't think this is any bit racially charged. I do think there might be a slight tension when it comes to the fight game and how race is sometimes propped up for viewership and ratings. It's an easy way for the media to do it, and look what the conversation that gets driven from it. I don't know what to tell people. You can't politically correct, you can't correctly politicize trash talk. That's just not how it works. And yeah, if you ever mic'd up every single player in a sports game, everybody would be fined. Everyone would be fined for dropping words that they should not be using. But what do you want out of your press tour? I'm really excited to fight Conor on August 26th. I think everybody's in for a delightful occasion. There's going to be food and wine served for
I'm in.
Front row. This is as if from Floyd Mayweather. And then Conor comes back with my opponent here, who I respect to the utmost degree. We both share a love for mink coats, and I think I'm going to whoop his hiney.
I agree.
It doesn't flow. I'm not trying to defend necessarily what they say to each other, but I think it's a part of the sports culture, and to rip it away from it is starting to sound a little bit snowflakey.
Not
to use their word. I know, I'm sorry.
So I talked about this yesterday when we mentioned it briefly on the clip. So to set as a foundation, you won't be hard pressed to find a video of me talking about issues that I think are clear issues of racism in this country. The treatment of Colin Kaepernick, police brutality consistently. It makes up probably 90% of my Facebook videos. I'm not setting that as a preamble so that I can be defended if I say comments you don't agree with. By all means, disagree with me. I think that it's more down to naivety rather than being blatant racism. I think that any comment can be taken. If you take Conor McGregor's comment about monkey, right, which is so racially charged when directed towards a black person, you take that specifically as a comment in that example, that sounds racist, right? But then when you go back in those videos that are surfacing at the moment from the last 4 years, where he's called white fighters monkeys, he's called other fighters monkeys, and it's, again, that's not saying that you can't take offense to it. I'm just saying that in overall, he's used this comment. It's part of his lingo. It's part of his. He called the two juiced up monkeys that were next to Floyd Mayweather juiced up monkeys, and those two were, I believe, they weren't black. So it's still. I'm not going to tell someone who's taking offense to those comments that that's not racially charged, because that's open to their interpretation. What I'm saying is that we have now almost given these two fighters the freedom to say as they please, because this is like a circus where they're just going at each other. So I'm not going to say whether it's racist or not. I'm just going to say that you can't pick apart this one instance and not look at Conor McGregor's track record in the past of saying things.
I agree with that 100%.
And but there is comments where I think that he himself, his lack of understanding in the issue is proven a little bit more evident, such as when they ask him about racism and he says, "I'm half black from the waist down." It's like he's trying to, in a way, tackle racism with a racial stereotype to try and prove that he loves black culture. And I think that he's kind of treading on a thin line.
I think he was trying to say he has a huge dick.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
It's what he was trying to say. So, and I know that's necessarily wrong, but if we're gonna start to pick apart every single little word from every time a fighter has trash talked another fighter, I hate to break it to you, every fighter's a racist, every fighter's a bigot, every fighter is racially charged against another fighter. So it creates a problem that every single fight is a racially charged fight, and that is what becomes a subsect of the media narrative that gets brought out.
Yeah.
Again, just I guess to clarify this, what can be taken as offensive isn't always racially charged. But in today's day and age, it seems like you should watch some of those words a little bit more carefully than others. McGregor has misstepped. It doesn't make him a racially charged bigot. Floyd has misstepped. Rick did a video for the channel. He did a video about the truth about both fighters, and it's true. Here's what they both are. They're both assholes. They're both not bigots. They're both assholes. To be honest, both probably aren't great people.
Yeah.
But you know what they are? Going to put on a relatively boring fight on August 26th.
No doubt. And in that same note, it's what I mentioned as well, is that I'm not trying to create false equivalence. Like, just because Floyd Mayweather has said things in the past, that doesn't give McGregor the ability to be able to say what he wants. He's not going to go up there. I'm not going to defend him if he goes up there and he's blatantly racist and says the N-word or anything like that. It's completely unacceptable.
That would be racist.
But I'm saying, yeah, the comments that Floyd Mayweather has said in the past have kind of been left out. Because he's involved in this altercation, whereas I remember distinctly when he had the fight with Manny Pacquiao, he was saying some very racially charged comments towards him. And I think I think if you're going to look at anyone to blame for what's been going on here, it's just the fact that people are almost tuning in to see this more so than they're in to see the fight. And they want to see them two go back and forth verbally.
That's what there was a big takeaway recently. And again, I watched most of the press tour. I was catching up on a lot of the press tour. By the way, this is the most exciting thing you're going to get out of the actual fight. It's the reason that there is this press tour and it's created so much exposure and so much talk and discussion. The more you give a mic to somebody, the more they talk, the more they're going to find themselves in hot water. On Floyd Mayweather's thing too, it's amazing how Conor McGregor's a couple of statements he makes, and people want to completely overshadow the other side of the story when it comes to who Conor McGregor is as a father. Not Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather is as a father, where his son detailed the absolutely horrific domestic violence that occurred in front of his eyes. So you can't have it both ways. If you want every athlete you look up to be this starling role model, well, then maybe we shouldn't be making out athletes to be the role models that we kind of expect out of them. And maybe you should be focusing on the ones and having less criticism of the ones who do it the right way.
Whatever you guys are open to your opinion on it, make sure to debate in the comments. Let us know what you think of what's going on. I do think that we're moving in a direction where it wouldn't surprise me if things start to get into that very, very murky territory because of the...
It's already there.
Yeah, it's already even more so because of how open people are kind of wanting to be with these back and forth, and they want to see this. They want to see these headlines.
If I'm being honest, I think the media wants it. If I'm being honest, man, they want it to happen, which is wrong. They want to perpetuate it. Because now the next questions that come up are, how do you feel about your racially charged comments about the other fighter? And if a fighter doesn't feel like they were basing it off any kind of racially charged background, it's going to still pry him into more. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.